Good morning, Lubbock, West Texas. Welcome back to the program. Welcome to the program if you're just joining us this morning. This is the Wake Up Call. Benji Snead here along with producer Brennan Riker on this Tuesday, August 4th. It'll be a hot 97 degrees today. Text and phone lines are open this morning, 806-771-0923. Appreciate Stephen Sanders calling in the last segment, giving us his take after he's turned in this petition to put a 18-month moratorium on data centers. That'll be interesting, which we want to ask our guest. Very excited this morning. Representative Carl Tepper. Is it chairman? Are you chairman?
Yeah, junior chairman.
Junior chairman, okay.
Permanent subcommittee chair. I'm not going to listen to Stephen Sanders on economic development, policy in Lubbock. Give me a break.
You've had so many appointments. You've been on. I don't know what title you go by these days, but appreciate you being here nonetheless.
Yeah, thanks, Benji. Yeah, the data center thing has been mesmerizing. Talk about a made-up issue. I mean, buildings are pretty much warehouses of servers.
Right.
The old ones did use a lot of water. The new ones now, I saw the city, everybody's screaming about this new small one that's coming in. And I mean, I kept thinking it was a typo. It was like 5,000 gallons a day or something. Like two blocks use that, I think. And people are screaming about that, and they're going to dump how many millions of dollars of value onto the tax base, which is, the sheriff's trying to get the roof fixed and raises for deputies and all this stuff. And I can't believe that we're going to listen to Stephen Sanders and Adam Hernandez on economic development policy in the city of Lubbock. Give me a break.
Well, I appreciate your candor. You've been very public about your support for these. Is it I'm curious your take on it. Is it the fear of the whole data center thing, or is it about resources? Is the narrative evolving?
Let me tell you what I think what's really going on underneath the surface is that Texas is growing exponentially.
Right.
And I think it's starting to bother people.
Oh, wow.
And I think they found a boogeyman in the data centers. And transmission lines downstate, we're not hearing about it much here, but downstate the transmission lines are having as much blowback. And I think people are just kind of tired of there's huge immigration happening in the Dallas, Houston area. And I mean immigration from around the world, immigration from California, and from other parts of the state coming in. It's kind of it's upsetting the culture quite a bit. And I think these data centers were just set up, big, giant developments in rural areas, which were dead, essentially.
Right.
But it's upsetting the apple cart and the leadership a little bit. And I think it's just having some blowback that's not quite logical, but you have to appreciate that it does have an emotional impact to people. And I think that's part of what's going on.
Sure. I agree with that. Have you seen any, I'll call it scientific polling with the perceptions out there? Are people more in favor, against? It seems like everybody's just kind of against.
It was like, I think
Except for you.
Republicans were surprising. I think it was like 48% against.
Yeah.
And Democrats were much higher. I'm trying to remember what the numbers were, but I don't remember. But I think Republicans have been fooled that this is democratic socialism cloaked in resources, like we're going to run out of water.
Right.
Which I'm glad people appreciate that we can waste water, but I don't see them protesting golf courses, and I don't see them, at least the data centers they reuse the water. It's a closed loop system and they're going to reuse it. And pretty soon they're not going to use any water. It's just going to be air cooled stuff. But so they appreciate that their electric bills are high, and they are in Lubbock.
Right. Sure.
And so, by the way, the data centers have to, and we're going to make it so that they have to bring their own power, essentially. Right. So noise, power, and water. The water is being handled very quickly. The power is being handled very quickly. The noise, you can mitigate that with the, with the walls, the noise mitigation walls and things like that. So it's okay to ask questions, and I appreciate that. But we've given you the answers and the solutions. And city staff at that big Tuesday meeting about a month ago gave the answers. I don't think people listened to a word they said. And they just started screaming again at council.
I don't disagree.
About a boogeyman that doesn't really exist anyway. So if you've got one of these data centers that's going to plop $1 billion down to $4 billion down, you know what the valuation of that is? And people are complaining to me about their property taxes. Folks, let's be consistent here. Right. Okay, if you want your property taxes lowered, but you still want your deputies and your police officers paid appropriately, and you want your parks cleaned and all that sort of thing, your roads fixed, you've got to have some economic development.
Right.
You know, and these things are a dream, and they're not going to really interfere with your housing market. This is an interesting, I don't want to say experiment, but it's an interesting dynamic where we're going to plop these things down. They don't bring a ton of jobs. They do in construction. It's a little painful.
Temporary
construction. I can't paint over that. But I will tell you that once they're built, per square foot, there's not as much people. There's quite a few people in technical jobs from Texas Tech and everything.
Right.
But there's not as much as there would be in a distribution center or something like that. So it's really not going to interfere with your housing market and saturate your housing market and all that people are concerned about rising rents and home costs and all that. So they're really a dream development, and people are protesting. I'm shocked by it.
Right.
And I'm not sure at what point are we able to inject logic, and people don't trust their leadership.
Yeah.
And they can change me out 12 times. They're not going to like the next guy, and they're not going to like the lady after that and the guy after that either. So at what point do I just have to come out and say boldly and forcefully, like, stop with the silliness. These are great developments. Let's move on to issues that really matter.
Do you agree with the governor's letter yesterday?
Remind me, what did he say yesterday?
He's telling them,
did he change direction again?
No, that's hilarious. We did go back and do some. Oh
yeah, the PUC. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't moratorium the thing, but
how long will that take for them to?
It's gonna,
conduct a comprehensive verification.
It's a little inconsistent. We're trying to show that we're open for business in Texas, but we're not. Because we don't. Hey, leadership out there, local, state level,
right?
Be consistent. Now, it's okay to listen if things come up. Let's change. But we know the information and the solutions about these data centers. Why are we jumping in? Because this is a state of 30 million people.
Right.
Why are we doing the things we're doing for a few thousand people who are obviously not educated in the issue?
Right. Lots to learn out there. Do you think municipalities should use this? What I'm hearing is incredible revenue without seeing real consequences. Do you think the municipality should use some of that revenue to buy down property taxes?
I think
that's been floated out there.
Well, look, Benji, it'll be offset. It's an offset.
Sure.
So instead of raising your I never say people are going to lower your property taxes because they never quite do they?
No.
By the way, you're welcome. The state legislature did a little bit. A lot of people saw a few $100s less than the year before because we bought down a lot of the school rate. It wasn't as big a bang for the buck as I was hoping, and I'm sure not really going to brag about it.
Yeah.
But I don't see them lowering. I know where you live, Benji. They're not going to lower your property taxes.
You do.
But they're not going to lower your property taxes, but maybe they won't go up as much, and hopefully we'll be able to take care of some deferred maintenance around the city and the county that we need to.
Visiting with Representative Carl Tepper, the very candid representative this morning. I want to ask you about your legislative priorities for next year coming up after the break. You're listening to the Wake Up Call. We'll be back.
Wake Up Call with Benji Snead continues on 92.3 The Hub, the voice for freedom.
Good morning, Lubbock. Welcome to the program this morning. You're listening to the Wake Up Call, 8:06 a.m. Here on the program this Tuesday, August 4th. 75 degrees downtown Lubbock, live from the Raymar compound. It's going to be hot today, 97 degrees. Welcome back to the program. We're visiting with State Representative Carl Tepper this morning. You authored you've been in there since 24. You've authored 70-something bills. You sit on more committees than I've ever seen a House rep sit on. Rattle them off. You're on 9 committees.
70. I think it was 69 bills one session.
Golly.
And then, staff was going to go on strike. I'm on, most reps are on 2 committees. I'm on 9. I can't remember what they were. Appropriations. I love appropriations.
Calendars.
Appropriations Article 3, which is education. Calendars. Intergovernmental affairs.
State-federal relations.
Yeah, I chair that one, and then county and regional affairs. I've got a committee meeting coming up in a couple of weeks on that.
Which one takes up most of your time?
Well, when you're in session, appropriations by far
Right.
Takes up. But I like that one. It's front loaded. Most of the committees are waiting around for months to get started.
Sure.
But appropriations starts right away.
Right. Go ahead.
And then redistricting stole my summer last summer. That was fun. That was very interesting.
I don't know if I've told you before. I'll tell you a quick Duncan story. When he was in there, state senator.
Yeah.
It was when I was in the news, and I asked him a question because Nagelbauer had meddled in some state business or something, and I said, you think he'll continue to do that? And Duncan looked. I mean, in the press, he looked right at me and said, "No, because if he does, we'll just draw him a new district." Yeah. So that was redistricting's a big deal to a lot of people. What are your or we'll talk about what you've accomplished in a minute, but what are your priorities for next year?
I'm still looking at property taxes. It'll be my third session. In my defense, I never promised anyone I'd lower them, but I was going to try to stabilize them.
Right.
And I've wanted to cap appraisals since George W. Bush was governor. I have letters to George W. Bush when he was governor, and I was a junior property manager, and I saw the impact it was having on people and businesses at the time.
Right.
And I always felt, by the way, your property taxes are capped now. If you have a homestead exemption, your house is capped at 10% a year. It doesn't mean you can't sell it for that much. It just means it's calculated on no more than 10% a year of increases, which is way too high.
Per year.
Per year.
Yeah.
So if you're in Austin, it wasn't a problem in Lubbock for years, but in Austin or Dallas, you were seeing 10-20% a year. So after 3 years, you were 30% higher in value, and property taxes really hurting young people.
Yeah.
So I always felt we should control that. I feel like it should be 2.5% for your homestead, and then 8% for all other property, commercial, rental property, and et cetera. People say, "Well, Carl, you own commercial property." You bet, exactly. I know how much it costs and how much it hurts, and we flow it through to the small businesses and our tenants. And I think it's one of those things we can do to stabilize the system in Texas, make it even more business friendly.
What is the average increase here? I don't think I've ever seen mine go up as much as 10% in a given year.
You might have seen, a lot of people around Lubbock have seen 10%.
Okay.
1 or 2 years, but not usually, year over year.
You've already told me mine aren't going down, so.
Yours, I know where you live and you're screwed. So I'd like to see that. I've been working on some local issues. One of the biggest issues we have around the state, if you talk to our local partners, is dogs.
Yeah.
Stray dogs.
Interesting.
So I've been working on some ideas to control the stray dog population. How do we work with the counties better? What do we make them do, or maybe make them work with the cities a little better?
Right.
And maybe vet techs should have a certification to do spays and neuters to drive the cost down, things like that. So I've been working on that through the summer. We've got, I think, 20 bills right now, and it's growing on issues we're trying to tackle. And economic development, this data center thing is going to be a big deal for everybody. And transmission lines in this state has been a big deal. People are offended that these transmission lines are going over their property. They get paid for it, but maybe not enough. And we're going to have to see if maybe there's a better routing system we can use for transmission.
Right. I want to switch gears for a minute. And how big a deal is this, is what's going on out at Reese right now?
So it's, they've kind of shut us down on talking about that a lot.
Sure.
It's a big deal.
Right.
And it's essentially a new industry in West Texas. There's some really incredible research going on out there. And some of it's just wind. We're still doing the wind research out there. So if there's a tornado, how do we, structure our homes and buildings better? And we're doing some Department of War research out there. And it's pretty cool. One of the runways is being brought back up. We're going to be able to bring the big Air Force jets back in. And I could be in the legislature for 50 years. I'll never be as proud as that legislation as we did out there.
Well, and by definition, a lot of what's going to go on out there won't be talked about publicly. And it seems like it's going to be a living, breathing thing as we attract private industry and federal projects, et cetera, et cetera. But we'll follow that. Okay, let's talk about what you've done so far in your. I mean, you've been in there since 24, 69 bills in one session. What are you most proud of?
The Reese, by far the Reese legislation.
The funding, the grant, or just...
It was turning it over. We just changed the board over to the president of Texas Tech gets to select the board, so it's not the city and the county anymore. And I really appreciate Trey Payne, Mark McBrayer, Jared Atkinson at the city, Judge Curtis Parrish and his commissioners for helping us make that adjustment out there that was needed. I think they saw the value of it and worked with us really, really well. And the downtown PFZ project financing zone, where we get to recapture, instead of money going to Austin, we get to recapture our mixed beverage taxes, our retail taxes, our hotel taxes back into the Civic Center for its expansion. It's worth about $130 million over 30 years, but I'm still pretty proud of it. Yeah.
And that's one of the last ones y'all have granted like that.
It'll be the last one. Arlington has one. A couple other cities have them. I tried to get a hotel one. I tried to double dip on the thing, and they said, well, we're going to give you the hotel one. I said, you know what? I think I'd rather have the PFZ. And I had to make a call right there because I didn't really have the numbers in front of me. Yeah. Everyone said, boy, you made the right guess, because it was much more valuable than the hotel one.
Are you disappointed?
I'll still try the hotel one, by the way, this next session. We'll see what happens.
I have every faith in you. Yeah. Are you disappointed they kicked the can down the road on the Civic Center renovations?
Yeah, you mean the Expo Center or the Civic Center reservations?
Civic Center.
Okay. I think we're going to meet with those guys and make sure we get it together. And we have a timeline on this deal, so it needs to happen.
Well, they talked about November to increase the hot tax to help some of the funding, and then they're talking about maybe next May. And just seems like the timing was bad for November election. But what about the Expo? What are your thoughts on that? Are we ever going to build one?
You know, this is one of the few times I try to stay in my lane.
Fair enough.
I think I missed the old auditorium. I don't know what was wrong with it. It needed a remodel. I get it, but you don't have enough time in the show for where I am on that. I just hope they're able to parse that. It's too many buffers in the system, where you've got the Expo Center board, and there's another board, and then there's a county commissioner. So it's like no one seems to have any responsibility for it. I'd like to see it actually fall on someone, let them make a decision on it,
I think
one way or the other. Yeah, I tell you what, you're asking me about things I'm proud of. I'm really proud that we got Dustin Burrows in as speaker.
Of course, I want to get to that too.
I think he's redefined the speakership. I've never seen a more dynamic leadership.
Sure.
Statewide right now, I think he's the adult I've been looking for in leadership. He's going around. He's not making enemies, making friends.
Right.
Even people who were, dead set against him and in caucus meetings and all that stuff. He's really turned it around. He's got us working as a team. He's got the statewides working as a team, and I think it's really beneficial for Texas.
Yeah, I want to talk more about him and Senator Perry as well. It seems like we've got all this momentum in Lubbock, backed by a delegation that's got more say in the game than ever before. So we'll be back with Representative Carl Tepper right after this. Stay with us.
Wake Up Call with Benji Snead continues on 92.3 The Hub, the voice for freedom.
Welcome back to the program. 8:20 a.m. You're listening to the Wake Up Call. If you have a question or a comment, or you want to call and counterpoint with our guest, Representative Carl Tepper, this morning.
Come on, Stephen. You can call back in. I actually like him a lot. He's a good guy.
Talking about Stephen Sanders.
Stephen Sanders.
Yep.
I'm not going to take my economic development advice from him. Sorry.
Understood.
We're going to disagree on this one.
You can also weigh in 806-771-0923. Text or call in. Representative Tepper. West Texas has historically had to kind of fight to make its voice heard in Austin. How important is it having a strong delegation, like maybe the strongest ever, when these big decisions are being made about Texas Tech and economic development?
Yeah, I can't speak to the history of it, but there's 9 legislators. The Speaker Burrows always says, west of I-35 in our time zone, in the central time zone, which means that cuts out El Paso.
Right.
So I think there's just 9 of us, And just to give you a little bit of perspective, Houston has 21. And I'm proud to say, and I'm happy to say, there is not any sunlight between us. When you've got, by the way, Caroline Fairley out of Amarillo is a star. She's 27 years old. Wow. She got elected. She was 25 when she got elected. She's very shrewd, very smart. Holly, 2 women are going to be representing Amarillo now. I find that interesting. Strong women leaders. We've got Brooks Landgraf in Odessa, Tom Craddock, of course, in Midland. I've got David Spillers, my desk mate, out of Jacksboro, and he's got all the way to Brownwood. And all the way down, Drew Darby, and we've got Jay Hardaway now who's going to be replacing Lambert. So we've got a really, really strong team in West Texas. We're all very close. We talk regularly, once a week, if not more. And, of course, we have the speaker.
Right.
And we're just killing it.
Yeah.
And people, the other legislators apparently gossip about those damn West Texas guys are just eating it all up.
It's a theme lately. From the delegation all the way to Texas Tech. Just a
little bit of a history of it. George W. Bush was from Midland, and you had Rick Perry from Haskell.
Right.
And we've had a tradition of that over the years where we work.
Yeah.
We're West Texas and farm and ranch. Oh, I'm not. Okay, I'm not going to tell you I am. But I've had to adopt the culture where we get up early and we get our job done, and we have to focus and, you get it done.
Watching you since you've been in there, it seemed to me there was this intrusive, almost feeling that you had already been in there a while. Day one. And I know you've been highly involved in the Republican Party, but what's one issue, one perspective that's changed or evolved since you've been in there that you didn't see coming?
Well, that speaker's race, I didn't see coming.
Oh, okay.
That my class had a particularly tough. Excuse me, it was a tough class. We had the impeachment of Ken Paxton.
Right.
We had some battles about school choice that did not happen until the second session. We had a huge speakers battle last year. So I've already lost some members of my class to primaries. And, it could keep happening because we've just had a tough go at it on various issues. But I'm also proud of my class where they've stood tall and strong. And, this is not my identity.
Right.
I like doing it. The speaker says, "Are you having fun?" I'm like, no, I don't know if I'd call it fun. I'd rather be doing it than not doing it. But if I wasn't, I'd just go ride my horses again.
Right.
But and I'm lucky the folks in West Texas have let me do it as long as I have already.
Right.
And I just love this area. I think they deserve good representation. I'm not one of those guys. There's a long list of leaders around here who have moved off.
Right.
And I'm here to stay. I love my house. I love my horses. I like the people. I like my neighbors, the people around me. I just like the town. It's a weird town. It's flat. We don't have mountains or an ocean. I visited Long Island, family back in Long Island last week, and we took the boat out, and it's almost emotional for me because the contrast between my life in West Texas and where I grew up in Long Island is so incredibly different.
Yeah, I would think.
You can't even. By the way, we went and saw a Tim McGraw concert at the Jones. I had to go to Long Island to go to a country music concert.
Hilarious.
I can't believe all the country music. He packed it in, and he did a great job. But he was never been my biggest, country music guy. But he packed it in, did a great job. And what a surreal scene for me to see people in cowboy boots and all Texas Tech gear on Long Island. And then heading back home, and I just love it out here. And by the way, the family comes here for Thanksgiving, Easter. That we're getting our tickets for the Thanksgiving game at TCU.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
They love Tech football.
Last game of the season, isn't it? Of regular season.
Yeah, until we go to the playoffs, right? So
let's talk about this. I'm sure you've seen the polls. the governor's race is even pretty tight. What do you make of this kind of surge by the Democrats to try to reposition themselves in a place of making a difference towards their end, if you will?
Well, Tallarico's, controlling that deal.
Yeah.
And the war in Iran is controlling it. So the president has a lot of say in our condition going into the midterms.
Right.
So and I'm praying and hoping that this is going to sound like a contrast. We need to take care of Iran, and those people have been a pain in the butt for 47 years.
Take care of as in?
As in, I'd like to see a regime change myself.
Deal with it, yeah.
But we need to settle the war if we're going to have success in the midterms, and the gas prices need to plummet, and that's really affecting our numbers. So I really don't think the governor's race is as close as that poll might show.
Yeah.
I do think the U.S. Senate race is very close.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what happens with Tallarico and.
You think he's ahead?
I think it's neck and neck.
Yeah. Okay.
And you Republicans out there, I know he's a controversial character, Ken Paxton, but you're going to need to not sit it out. Suck it up, get out. A lot of you love him, and he had some really great legislation against the Biden administration. He really great lawsuits and such. I don't know if he came up with that stuff or his staff, or if he hired the right guys. That's a mark for him too.
Right.
But he had some great legislation, really creative stuff. So this is the type of thing that's going to could potentially change the U.S. Senate. It'd be real painful for America if Ken Paxton doesn't win.
I got a question. At the risk of you getting really loud, what's a bigger issue, data centers or the border?
Well, right now, the border's under control under the great president.
Right.
As a matter of fact, zero illegal immigration coming over. Zero.
Right.
So if I was going to ask the public, it's, data centers. It's a manufactured issue, I believe, but for some reason it's hitting the polls, you know. It goes to show you how good we have it in Texas, where we're arguing about warehouses full of servers.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Well, in terms of priorities and what's important to West Texas, you guys obviously have a hyper focus here on Lubbock. How does the delegation, or who's involved, when you sit down and say, all right, what's important to the people we're representing, and how do we set our priorities?
We do meet regularly. We'll have lunch, and we'll also have lunch with the chancellor, sometimes the mayor, and get their input. Charles Perry is incredibly dynamic on water, which is
no question
the biggest issue that's not sexy. Nobody really talks about. They are now with data centers, but
once you don't have it,
his focus on water, we can't replace that.
Right.
Really, it is absolutely amazing, and it's needed.
Yeah, and we're going to have him on the program. What is it, the 19th, Brennan? Senator Perry?
He'll talk to you an hour about water.
Well, and we'll take it. We'll take it.
But it's needed.
He's also very passionate about education. More with Carl Tepper right after the break. Stay with us.
Wake Up Call with Benji Snead continues on 92.3 The Hub, the voice for freedom.
Welcome back to the program, 8:36 a.m. You're listening to the Wake Up Call. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday, August 4th. 97 degrees for a high today. And continuing our conversation, we should have these conversations during the breaks on the actual show and get your movie reviews and your take on.
I don't know. It's always, I don't want to talk about that. Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, but it's people's livelihoods, and I hate to just.
I understand.
Like if you had a bad experience at a restaurant, you don't go online and say, this restaurant sucked or whatever. You just, it's their livelihood. Maybe they were having a bad day. Give them a second chance, or just don't go back. But I wouldn't advertise against them,
right,
on Facebook or what have you, because it's their,
Most of the time, if you don't leave a tip because it's bad service, they never know that it was bad. They just think you're rude.
You think that?
I think they don't know. They don't realize it was bad service.
I've left tips to the worst waiters.
Yeah.
Just not as much.
My granddad didn't leave a tip for a group of 12 once. Zero. Guy was terrible. Guy followed him out to the parking lot and said, "You didn't leave me a tip." And my granddad handed him a $100 bill and said, "You could have earned that." I don't think they realize that when it's bad service, they're just so slammed. That's a hard job. being a waiter.
That's a good way to put it, though. Your granddad was pretty smart.
Could have earned. You could have earned.
I wouldn't have done $100 or done 20. I don't know how big the bill was, but
12 of us in the early 90s.
Oh, well, maybe.
Anyway, all right. Let's get back to a couple of issues here. You talked earlier that one of your priorities is getting property taxes. How did you put it? We want to roll them back. We want to freeze them.
I want to stabilize them. Just people are getting sticker shock every May when they get their values. Now, folks, listen. When you get your values in May, it doesn't necessarily. I got to be careful here. I wanted to say it doesn't necessarily translate to exponentially higher taxes in December when you got to pay them, because we've been buying down the school rates. So even though your appraisal went up, the cities and counties, school districts are only allowed to raise their revenues so much, and we've also been cutting the rates. So when your bill actually comes in, it might not be chances are it's not as much as you thought it was going to be because you got a massive appraisal increase. But I would still like to help you with those appraisals. How about that?
How do you continue to fund education and stabilize property taxes?
Well, we're not just funding education. I mean, we gave them $8 billion 2 sessions ago, and we gave them another $9 billion this session, and we have a lot of dedicated people doing a lot of dedicated things in the school systems, but our scores are flat right now. Actually, they're improving on reading and everything after COVID was a disaster. So thank you for everyone who's getting these kids caught up and back to where they need to be. But Benji, I made a hobby of, people are sick of me saying this, but I made a hobby of going around asking kids. When I say, I'm not being weird, but hey, at the 4th of July parade, it's Independence Day. It's 250th anniversary. Who did we fight for our independence?
Oh, wow.
And I've never had a right answer. Their parents don't know.
Wow.
It's the British, right? Who is George Washington fighting the British? They don't know. Now, if you try to do World War II, who did we fight in World War II?
Yeah.
The closest I got, one kid said Italy, which is kind of,
ish.
Sort of.
Germans controlled Italy.
It's the Germans and the Japanese. Now, the whole world looks the way it does because of World War II, but I've never had a kid get even close on that one.
Yeah.
And the Civil War. I've had kids, and then finally I'm so annoyed, I'll ask, well, who did we fight in the Mexican-American War? And, they're so intimidated. I'm so annoyed, visibly annoyed, and they're so intimidated by that at that point that they don't want to answer, who did we fight in the Mexican-American War or the Spanish-American War, And so it's frustrating that, and by the way, I'm a history buff, but I will be fair and ask a math question. What is 8% of 100? And they all grab their phones.
That's hilarious.
So,
and think about those kids, back when COVID hit, that were going into second, third, that they lost 2 years of reading almost, learning how to read. So, hats off to folks catching everybody up out
Thanks,
there.
Dr. Fauci. By the way, this whole data center thing feels a lot like the whole COVID paranoia.
Really?
But I just wanted to inject that. It just feels like people are just being told a bunch of. I never wore my mask. I had a Darth Vader mask when a restaurant made you come in. I got one off eBay, and I used to wear my Darth Vader. It used to be the rule was a face covering. So I'd wear my Darth Vader, and people would high-five me all the way through the restaurant to my table because everybody knew how silly the stupid mask thing was. And sure enough, when you look at Dr. Fauci and all the fallout from the investigation of COVID, it was all a bit, you were lied to. That's another reason why people are so suspicious of everyone in authority right now. But on the other hand, people are telling you to suspect data centers like COVID, and there's really nothing there, nothing to see.
Funniest mask I saw back then was it said around the edges said "Make America Great Again," and there was a hole right in the middle of the mask. that sort of thing. All right, so if you could wave a magic wand and you've got one idea to make lasting change in Texas, and it doesn't need a vote. It's Carl Tepper time. What do you do?
If it was realistic, I would stabilize those property taxes.
Okay.
I think people are working really hard. They've got the gas bill. A close second would be that what nobody's talking about is insurance. Insurance is skyrocketing for your home, your apartment insurance, your commercial lines of insurance. If you have a commercial property or a business, you're getting killed.
Health insurance on the radar?
Health insurance is skyrocketing too, but really it's been property insurance that's just been crazy. Texas has everything that can go bad, from hurricanes to tornadoes. Hailstorms are what really kills us.
Right.
And frankly, we've got people working on that. I'm not an insurance expert. I just know I pay a lot. I have some, commercial properties. We're getting absolutely killed. And people are working on that. I don't know what the magic wand is right now, and I haven't heard yet. I heard they're declining slightly, but boy, it's been just a massive cost. So between fuel prices rising, insurance, property taxes, their pay has been stable. It hasn't been rising very much. I can see why the electorate is so annoyed about everything right now, and they're focusing on data centers and some other things, but I can see why people are annoyed.
Sure. Well, those are the big things. I mean, we did a little dive yesterday on school supplies. Like a lunchbox is up like 27% year over year. Little stuff like that. It all kind of adds up. Other than, you mentioned insurance, what other issues deserve more attention than they're getting in Austin?
I said the property taxes, insurance, the utility issue. They're worried about data centers, not that ERCOT wouldn't be able to keep up with the power, and they're right. But the rules are that from the federal, and we're going to have them soon, that the data centers are going to have to start bringing their own power.
Right.
So the massive data centers, the hyperscale, are going to have, those compact nuclear, or they're building gas-fired plants on top of gas-fired plants to keep up with their power needs, so it doesn't take away or increase the cost to the consumer, and we don't have these brownouts. Right now, the state's doing pretty well. We've had some really hot days around the state, and we're keeping up. And we've got a little bit in reserves, but I wouldn't brag about it just yet.
Right.
I think we need to be looking at utilities a lot stronger. And, of course, Charles Perry has just been a bird dog on water needs, and that's a big issue that he did tackle, but we passed, y'all voted, thank you, for the water bill back in November.
Right.
And it was needed, but it seems like Houston just eats it all up, and that wasn't the intent. It was supposed to be spread around the state for different, reservoir projects and brackish water and desalination, and it wasn't intended for just Houston to eat the whole thing up.
Right.
So we're going to be looking at that to make sure it's spread properly.
Do you agree with Lubbock's decision to join ERCOT?
No.
Okay.
No, and I helped with that. I helped with one of the pieces of legislation they needed.
I mean, is that hindsight no, or is that...
I wasn't real happy with it when we were doing it because ERCOT was already having brownouts.
Yeah.
So how were they going to add us?
Case in point, yeah.
And I never really understood it, but, I never dove into it enough to really be able to argue against it. But in retrospect, I will tell you, I'm on SPS, and my bills are so much lower.
Lucky you.
Probably a quarter.
But yet you've got 120
LP&L
choices out there. Not if you're not on South Plains Electric.
It's not. I don't feel like it's going well. I feel like the rates I'm hearing from the guys at work in their houses that are smaller than mine, but 4 times more than my electric bill.
Yeah.
Something's wrong.
Well, we'll talk about what ideas that we have out there to remedy that after the break. More with Carl Tepper after this.
Wake Up Call with Benji Snead continues on 92.3 The Hub, the voice for freedom.
Welcome back to the program. Rounding out this hour in another edition of the Wake Up Call with our guest this morning, Representative Carl Tepper. Chairman Carl Tepper. You're on like 9 committees. We talked about it earlier.
I want to, you know what, Benji? Let me jump in here, Benji.
Please.
We were just talking about, so I'm not going to name names what we were talking about, but I get criticized. I'm a big mouth. I know it all. I do, by the way.
I believe 100%.
It's better to just tell. There have been good ideas around town that weren't marketed very well. This data center thing, we probably should have gotten ahead of a little better.
You think?
And it's better to just go. I've told this to people on a myriad of issues. Get on Benji Snead. Get on. There's shows all over town.
Yeah.
Good shows. and make your case, and just tell the people. I've told mayors, not this. I'm not pointing this one out, but other ones over the years. Float a trial balloon. Make them think it's their idea.
Yeah.
Get on there and say, hey, we have this idea. What do you an expo center, whatever, and make your case. And the talk radio listeners are not shy.
Pick a side
about telling you where they're going to be and get a feel for it and get to know their concerns about an issue before you go full bore and try to shove it. They don't like things shoved down their throats. They like you to kind of answer the questions.
And then you get what we got with Stephen Sanders pushing back the way he is, and that's democracy at its best. But it's a poor job of not even really selling it. But do you think it was just that this public hearing we had a couple of weeks ago? He called it fake lip service. Do you think it did?
I don't
any
think
good?
That's fair at all. I mean, the staff there was one slide in particular that showed, the imaginary data center would use 100,000 gallons a day, which isn't even true anymore. They use a lot less. But I think by the end of the year it might be 0. But I don't think people listen to a word they said. But conversely, they're using the democratic process. I mean, they're getting their petition together and they're doing the right thing. They're getting their supporters together, but all of this could have been avoided, I think, if some leadership had gone out and said, hey, look, yes, these data centers, we're noticing there's some attention being paid. What are your concerns? And then on the other hand, I'm telling you guys, those concerns are not valid for these reasons. And then pick a side. If you're wishy-washy on it all the way through city leadership, you're going to get killed. You're just going to find activists. Some activists are not credible, genuine. I'm not saying Stephen isn't, but some are not genuine. They have elections. They have ulterior motives. And you need to cut through that and get straight to your voters and let them know that you are absolutely looking out for their best interests. One of the most insulting things is we have people have emailed and texted us about, you're making money off this. You're getting money. I mean, one lady made up a whole scenario how I'm getting all this money out of Bitcoin from data center operators. And I'm like, well, gee whiz. They must have missed I don't even know how to use a Bitcoin or how to get one. But I mean, they must have missed my bank account by a few numbers because I haven't seen anything yet. And we got an open records request. I mean, Adam Hernandez, he's so brave. He made an open records request to all these elected officials. I'm like, I told staff, that's an easy one. None. I haven't talked to anyone from any data center company. I wish they'd call me. I'm having a big fundraiser in a few weeks.
It kind of come with the territory, though. I mean, you got to put up with some of that.
Come on, guys. Have you seen my lifestyle? It's not exactly fancy or outrageous or anything. I mean, the state gives me the money to fly to Austin when I need to and to fly back. That's about as much as I get. Yeah. So we're paid $600 a month, and I work a full-time job, 3 really. So look, guys. We're not getting paid off. I really love this community. I hope you think I'm honest. That's why I got elected. And I'm trying to look out for the best interest of Lubbock going into the future when nobody's going to remember my name. And, when you look back to the guys who got a big headache about the Loop 289, and when you look back, Alan Henry wasn't that far back when Mo Turner and those guys back then who built the Loop and built Lake Allen Henry, had the foresight, and boy, they got to remember Lake Allen Henry didn't have the mineral rights. Everybody's screaming. Oh, yeah. But you know what? They got it done. Yeah, sure. There was some slip ups. They got it done, and thank God they did. And we need to give those. There needs to be a dinner or something for these people back going 20 to 50 years back who had the foresight to build this city out of a desert. Not unlike Las Vegas, just sits in the desert. We are sitting in the middle of a desert. And we're just barely short of the size of Buffalo, New York, and Cincinnati, Ohio. I don't think people realize that. Our population numbers are just about at those cities. They have NFL franchises. Yeah. So I think we need to be proud of what we built. And some of us, and when you look at Charles Perry, Dustin Burrows, Mark McBrayer, Trey Payne, these guys are looking out for the future. You might like Dan Pope looking out for the future of the city and working real hard for free. These city council members work for free, essentially. Right. And I can't believe the type of blowback these guys get. I don't think someone won't remember your name. It's not like it's not exactly a thankless job. I mean, you get to look back and say, here's what we did for Texas Tech. It's an honor. I'm glad to say I got to do it. Yeah. But I'll tell you, we're having a hard time finding really good, solid leadership in a lot of positions because nobody wants to put up with this bull of these accusations and social media craziness.
That's a theme on this show. People have been saying that lately.
Animations about you that don't ring true, And so, by the way, I've learned how to do these animations. They don't like it when I push back with my own animations against them and their stupid website or whatever. So,
do you use AI?
I can't believe how good it is.
Right.
I used ChatGPT for one, and it came up within 5 minutes. It came up with something it would have taken me days to do.
As a journalist, it was overt to me when everybody all of a sudden became good writers.
But it's vanilla, isn't it? When I've noticed
you can see it. Yeah.
I've noticed some resumes come through with we get people's writing samples and it's
Change
just
it up
flat, and you can tell it was ChatGPT or something.
How about some quick rapid fire? We got like 3 minutes.
Okay.
With Representative Carl Tepper. All right, 1 sentence answers or less. What has surprised you most about serving in the legislature?
How well I get along with my colleagues, both Republicans and Democrats, and they're looking out for the best of their constituent. We don't agree. I mean, they're crazy on their ideology, but they're fun to talk to.
Favorite place in Lubbock?
My home, my horses. Sorry, that's boring.
No, it's not.
The next is Jones AT&T Stadium on football day. You just can't beat that anywhere.
What's your favorite tech tradition?
Jones AT&T game day.
Okay.
By far. I'm a horse guy. The Masked Rider it's just something about that touches me every time I see it.
Do you like Galaxy Stadium or not?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
Yeah, defend the Galaxy.
It's funny we had the chancellor on. I asked him the same question. Favorite tradition? You know what he said? Tortillas. I couldn't believe it.
Uh-oh. There goes 15
said,
yards. There goes 15 yards.
He said, we're not going to do it. But
yeah, there goes 15 yards right there.
You might have answered this already. One bill you're most proudest of?
The Reese Air Force Base bill. Yeah.
Issue you want to tackle that you haven't?
These property taxes has been a tough one. I'm with the governor on that. He's got a pretty good plan. He's got 5 points. I like 3 of them a lot.
How would your kids describe you?
How my kids describe me?
How would they?
A real pain in the butt, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you say your biggest weakness is? There's a resume question for you.
Biggest weakness, math.
We're not going to end on weakness.
Math.
Thanks for all you do, Carl.
Thanks, it was
Tepper,
fun.
and good luck in the session next year. And I hope you get it all accomplished. And I hope you'll come back on the show again sometime.
Good job, Benji. Look at you.
Hey, man.
Look at you. You're bright. Not just the news.
You're making it happen.
Director. You're a broadcaster. Look at this.
You're making it happen over here.
It's
Appreciate
fun.
you.
Thanks,
all right,
guys.
We'll see you again tomorrow morning, 6 to 9 a.m. right here on the Wake Up Call.